YouTube, how we doing? Pass the prop back here again. We have an MLB and NBA show. I know we only got one NBA game today, but Stu's still coming through for us. Join as always. How you doing, man?
Yeah, we're counting down really the last duo shows here with NBA kind of trickling down and down. Like we said, obviously those 2-game slates are unfortunately now out the window. We're just one a day. Which as a basketball fan you don't love, but as a bettor you do get to lock into these games a little bit more. I don't know about you. I didn't have shit on yesterday's game, and I'm very glad I did not, because obviously at one point it was a 50-point lead. So very glad I just dodged that whole shit show. That was fun to see, and I think we get a better game today. So definitely excited for today's slate. And hey, we got some good MLB stuff as well. Obviously, Skeen's back on the mound. I'm seeing is huge news as well for the gambling Twitter community. So definitely excited to dive in the slate today.
It's funny. Did you ask if I bet on the NBA? That is a no. I have not bet on the NBA in probably over a month now. So
yeah,
I am perfectly content staying away from that garbage, bro. So many blowouts, even in the playoffs. It's shit, dude. It's just shit. So I'm happy to be staying away. But we have a massive MLB slate, which makes it a little bit better for me. Yesterday was a small one, so barely had any plays out. So we'll see how it goes today. But yeah, only one spot on the NBA docket here. So anything you want to talk about that one before we get into it?
Yeah, I mean, if you watch this, the show before the series started, right? I talked a lot about liking the Knicks. I have the Knicks series prices, so this is obviously a huge game for me right here. I'm hoping to close out the series. So, I mean, I won't be betting a spread in this game. If anything, maybe Pacers live at some point. Obviously, we saw how well the motivation factor worked yesterday for Minnesota. The only difference is Minnesota is like an outstanding team, and I would not say the Pacers are an outstanding team. So I don't know if the Pacers deserve to be 5.5-point favorites in this one. I would be looking at the Knicks, to be completely honest. If I didn't already have these series prices, I think 5.5 is a good number. So if you're not sitting on Knicks futures, then I definitely think that 5.5 is worth looking at. But me personally, with all those futures, I'll probably be looking for the Pacers live at some point, just in case, get a little hedging, maybe try to win a couple bets at the same time. So, the futures obviously play into that. But I'm excited. I think it's a good game. Obviously, the key will really be Jalen Brunson, right? 44 last game with extreme double teams all game, still battled through the double teams and still crushed. If he does that again, it's over, right? It's over. I mean, what can you say? You're going 4-on-3, right? You're leaving everyone else wide open. You're dedicating everything to Brunson, and he drops 44 on you. Like, you lose if that happens again, right? So it's one of those things that, to me, the Pacers could have stabbed him in the heart. They're down OG. They're down all these guys. The moral is low. I think if they win one of those games, but for me, I like the Knicks. I like them to keep taking care of business here. So I think they get a victory tonight. But definitely, very excited to talk about the prop in that game and watch it in general. I think it'll be a good one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's talk about last show quick. Just get that recap out, just because I know I completely blanked on doing that. I took an L on this one. If you would have told me in like the 5th inning of both these games, 4th inning of both these games, that Michael King would be the guy to win, and the D-backs wouldn't, I would have laughed at you. The Michael King obviously sucked. He got absolutely rocked, but found a way to get through 5 innings and get to 6 strikeouts. The D-backs just couldn't score. There's the amount of base runners in that game for the Diamondbacks was pretty wild to just not score anything. Obviously, my boy Christian Walker goes, yeah. I had him on that day, so that was nice. But yeah, we take the L on that one. I don't even know. Did yours hit there on the Lively one?
Yep. We got the win with Lively right here. Little close once again. Lively always likes to make these a little close, but he got the job done pretty easily. Cashed our ticket right here.
Beautiful. And moving our record for MLB with that one, because I think we only both had one play there. So split show. I'm trying to keep track of MLB as best as we can here heading into these. A lot of good stuff on today's MLB slate. I'm actually pretty excited for this one. On DFS today, it is a 13-game slate. 13-gamer, guys. Like that's gonna be a tough one to keep track of. But it'll be a good slate. Got some high-end arms. We got some trash can arms, and everything in between. As a homer, I'm excited to watch my Brewers take on the Astros in Houston. That should be a fun game to watch, and hopefully get some bets in on that one. But also, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know why the Reds game's only 8.5, bro. Like, Paxton's been trash. Frankie Montas is going to get rocked. Where are we getting 8.5 from here? Unless it's just not that nice out in LA, which I don't think that's the case because it's always nice in LA. So that one kind of got in my head a little bit there. And also my boy Chris Bassett on the mound here again, ready for me to bet on him again. So don't have it on the slate here for me betting today, but just some spots that I looked at and thought it kind of looked like good ones here today.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely that one you talked about, obviously, with all the offense. For me, what popped off, obviously, was the Pirates-Cubs day game. Once again, Skeens definitely want to see that. Obviously, people are talking about the wind blowing up in Wrigley as well. So, I don't know. That seems like obviously, and I saw in the chat, too, Hendricks getting rocked today. It seems like we could be getting some good offense on both sides, which is perfect when you just get that day game baseball, and it's actually a good one, right? So, I'm definitely going to be tuned into this early one and probably tossing in a long shot or two at some point during the day.
Yeah, no, it should be a good slate out in Wrigley there. Obviously, it's the only game early, so get your bets in now if you're going to bet on that one. Any other game that you want to talk about here, Stu? Like I said, every team in action should be good ones here across the board. A lot of like minus 115s to minus 110s. The Mets are minus 120. They're pretty cool spreads here. Is there any game that stuck out to you? Obviously, I know you're not fully betting the MLB yet with the NBA games, but is there any game that just on the surface looks nice?
Yeah, I think Padres Braves, Waldron with the knuckleball. I'm a big fan of the knuckleball. I've always been. You can't throw it, or I can't throw it. No one throws it. So I like to into that. My question is always, to me, it seems like those guys either crush or get crushed. You know what I mean? And I don't know if the Braves have much history against him. I have to look into that a little bit more. But to me, I always like to see kind of a high level offense kind of tee off against just a really unique pitcher over there. And obviously Fried from the left with the curveball, always killing it as well. The spread looked a little interesting, minus 225 for Atlanta. 190 seems a little. I don't hate the Padres. I don't bet on them that often, but at 190, to me, is not too bad at all. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that game.
I will not bet the Padres anymore, bro. I
don't think I have since the start of last year.
I can't bet on them, bro. They are so inconsistent.
Yep.
I don't want to cheer for Machado either.
But you want
nothing there wants me to bet my money on them.
Yeah. I got you. I feel that way at 135. But when I see 190, sometimes I'm like, well, this is a better team than maybe that, because they're inconsistent. Like you said, they get rocked a lot. But, when they're hot, they come out firing as well. And, who knows? Waldron out there, he could be dropping some dimes. So I'm definitely going to be that'll be my late game, side screen TV next to the NBA action tonight.
Yeah, no, it's you just have those teams, right? You just have those teams that you just can't. I can't get myself to bet on. So, yeah, it should be a good game. I do wonder why it's so high. Obviously, Fried's been really, really good. I don't want to bet on him either, really. I don't bet on many Max Fried games either. So that game was a complete stay away for me. But there are a lot of other good games on the slate, which is nice when you have a game, a slate with every team in action, right? So, yeah, let's take a look at the chat. We got Paul in here, first guy in here. Let's make some coin today. Yes, sir. Definitely could see Hendricks getting rocked today. The dude finds a way to get dudes out. I still don't know how, but he does. Yeah, hoping for my Brewers' sake, I do think hopefully Hunter Brown gets it moving here and gets smoked. So I can take it away here to start since I have two plays. I know you got one here, Stu, so I'll take mine away first. I'm going right back to one of my favorite pitchers in the league right now, and that's Bryce Miller. I'm going Bryce Miller under 2.5 earned runs at minus 115 for Seattle. I've been betting him probably 90% of the time at home. He is getting a road start today in Baltimore, which honestly I don't hate that much, especially with Bryce Miller's splits and how he's been so far this year. Understand that the numbers are a little bit worse at home or away from home with a 3.1 ERA versus 2.3 at home, but underlying numbers are fantastic on the road. A lot worse BABIP as well. So I do expect a little bit more positive regression specifically on the road, even though he's obviously been very, very good. Elite versus righties against lefties, got to get that walk rate down a little bit, but still has a sub 1 whip against lefties. Been very good at keeping them off base, and just the stuff, right? The stuff has been very, very good. The four-seamer is pushing 33%, a third of the time. This dude is getting a swing and miss on his four-seamer, stuff you don't see that often. Splitter, obviously been very, very good. Good whiff rate, good put-away percentage. And when you look at Baltimore, they are, again, one of those teams that is just phenomenal against lefties, but not great against righties. They're middle of the pack there. And just looking at like the last couple days, right? Looking at their last 7 days stretch here, they're only batting .226 with a .742 OPS. They've been hitting homers, but that's really all their offense has been home runs. They've scored 12 runs over their last 4 games and doing 90% of that damage off the home run ball here. Luckily for us, Bryce Miller has elite stuff. And when we look at his home run numbers here on the season, he's given up five of them to lefties here, which obviously you could get worried about when you have, Ryan O'Hearn in there, Adley, Gunnar. But I think that splitter is going to be a really big pitch for him tonight, and I think he's going to be able to get those lefties out with that movement. So I like Bryce Miller here. I think he's going to be able to keep these guys in the ballpark. Obviously, when you look at the new dimensions there, it does help you out when you're facing those righties too, because obviously you look at these dudes and it's like, wow, that is a deep fence for a righty to pull it. So really like this spot for Bryce Miller, and I can continue to bet on this guy even though he's not at home in this one.
Yeah, I've been on record, obviously, as a big Miller fan. Like I said, I got a lot of these young guys, both him and Wu, over on that rotation right there. So I'm excited for it. And like you mentioned, too, for me, the biggest thing with the Orioles is the lefties are just a no-go. You know what I mean? It's just a complete avoid. You never want to do that. But I like what you were saying, obviously. It evens out a little bit with the righties, right? We got much more of a chance, and obviously those annoying ballpark dimensions for anyone that's home runs definitely strikes close to home right there. So I'm definitely good with Ryan Miller right here. The other thing too is he doesn't have the longest leash in the world, right? So he's one of those guys. He's not going to go 8 innings or anything right here. You never want to see someone get super deep. They're killing it 2 inning. It's happened to me like with the Scherzers of the world. Where we're at like 6 innings, 2 runs. You like having a little bit of that, more aggressive side when you're doing the unders at least.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Especially with a bullpen like Seattle. Definitely more than willing to go to them when you're in tough spots. So like that look as well. Stu, you can take it away, my friend. I'm going to kick it over to NBA for you. Obviously, I have no thoughts on this game. Hopefully the Knicks can win because I don't need to watch Tyrese Halliburton play anymore. So hopefully you can get this here, huh?
Yeah, we're going to Brunson over 6.5 assists, -120. I played that plus 100 like 2 hours ago. So the market is kind of catching up a little bit right here. And I think the easiest way to tell is, when you look at last game, this is a 44-point performance where he had 18 potential assists, right? This was a game where he dominated. He had the ball in his hands the whole time. He had 30 field goal attempts, right? He was absolutely chucking the ball, and he still had 18 potential assists, recorded 7 of them, despite his team shooting under 30% from wide open threes. So there's regression to come. He already cashed this number last game, and really it's hard to see the Pacers not doubling the fuck out of him. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, I don't see a world where, like, unless the true strategy is, which I was kind of saying a couple of shows ago, of like try to just let Brunson score and limit everybody else. That's not what they've been doing anymore, right? Before they had a hand at DiVincenzo's face every single time. Now they're hard doubling, which is something the Pacers were not really doing. They're helping a lot more on the drive, just completely collapsing their defense, trying to avoid Brunson from single-handedly dominating your team. And what that does is that's going to give a bunch of opportunities for these surrounding guys. And I think having more McBride minutes over Precious Achiuwa has been huge, right? A guy that can actually dependably knock down the spot up rather than a guy that you really never want to shoot the ball. So obviously that's been a big one for me. If you look at Dante DiVincenzo, that's someone that I will be betting on in some way today. The first couple games were insane, but these last 2 games, due to blowout and frankly terrible shooting performance, he came out the gate 0 for 6 the other night, right? That's going to be an off night. But the 30 points couple games before that, is still shooting 14 and 13 times despite the terrible performances. I think we see some regression from some of like the better players, like the DiVincenzo's of the world should really take this opportunity to heat up. And that's someone that I like to benefit from the Brunson assist. I like the correlation between them. So obviously when you talk about assists in general, for me, the priority is I want someone with the ball in their hands. And at this point in the playoffs, Jalen Brunson is going to have the ball in his hands more than any other player left, right? I mean, he is like this team, like this, everything will flow through him. All the actions he'll create for others or himself, right? Even in the dribble handoff situations where they're trying to get him clear, the Pacers are collapsing so aggressively on him that he's gonna have an open kick out anytime he wants it. So for me, when I look at this, right, I look at the 18 potentials last game. I look at how the Pacers are going to continue to guard him. I don't see a world where like our volume isn't insanely good. I think the only thing that would truly stop you right here is a terrible shooting performance. And that's what happens with the system sometimes. So once again, hit this last game with a generally bad shooting performance from the other guys. So he had to score 44 himself. And if he can score 44 and still hit this number, then I have a lot more confidence that if he's in his more normal range, 33, 35, then we could be at double-double potential for this one. So definitely love the upside right here. Brunson, he's still going to score in a lot of these doubles. He's not kicking it out all the time. I still think he's a better scorer than he is a better passer. I don't think it's even that close, but he's going to have all the opportunities in the world. And I think that's all you can really ask for in a bet like this, especially in the playoffs. So love this Brunson number. Still think we're getting some good value here at minus 120.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you have numbers like that, dude, you're not expecting it to be a 30% conversion rate. Obviously, guys got to shoot better. And when you're in a closeout game, they got to. You know you're out there to do this thing, and we got to finish it tonight. So you want to get them out of there. You don't want to ever give a team a chance on that Game 7. Anything can happen in those. So step on their throat, get these boys out of there. I think even with the injuries, they're a better team overall. So do not mind this at all, especially with a guy. I don't even what is his usage rate? It's got to be over 50, right?
Yeah, I don't have the number up in front of me. I can Google it real quick, but
I would be very while you're doing. I'll get into my next play here while you're looking, but I would be very surprised if it's not over 50 in the playoffs at least. Because dude, it is wild, man. I watched one game and I don't think I've seen him sit. The boy doesn't sit. It's crazy. So we got 23 of you guys in here live. If you could hit that like button for us, subscribe to the channel as well. Continuing to put out free plays here for you guys, and hopefully continue to win and make you guys some money here. So I'm going to go to a plus money spot. Still don't know how this is plus money. Nestor Cortez to record a win is plus 100 right now on DraftKings. I want to bet Nestor Cortez, and I hate saying this, but I want to bet him more today than I think I've ever wanted to in my life. He's playing the Chicago White Sox. He also is getting a chance to throw at home. I bet on Nestor Cortez twice this year. Only time I bet on him is at home because this dude is phenomenal at home. 1.59 ERA at home versus 6.7 on the road. The dude is completely wipeout, does not give up anything to lefties. He has a 229 batting average allowed to lefties, but a 286 slug. That is absurd, guys. That is literally absurd. He has a 1.62 FIP to lefties so far this year. That is nuts. The only reason you're seeing the 220 batting average against him is because it's like a 333 BABIP, which again will not continue. Also, just looking at this lineup, right? Like, who are we worried about? I like Corey Lee as a catcher. Don't get me wrong. I do really like him as a young catcher. But all right, we have him. I'll give you a half Eloy Jimenez because I don't think he's healthy ever. Andrew Vaughn. I mean, maybe. But like that, like if those are the guys like I'm really concerned about, I don't think we got that much of an issue because Nestor is not giving up home runs at home at all. 0.64 home runs per 9 at home this year. He has a 27% K minus BB at home this year. That's 2.16 FIP at home this year. The dude has just been very good at limiting numbers. And obviously, when you go to the other side that is required is Yankees have a good bullpen, number one. White Sox have a bad bullpen. And Mike Clevenger has a 6.01 expected ERA. And he has to deal with Aaron Judge, Juan Soto. And if he doesn't strike out Stanton, that ball's going 400 feet. So Yankees have been playing extremely good baseball. And I think that this is a good spot to go to Nestor in this spot when you have the worst hitting team versus lefties in the Chicago White Sox with a 558 OPS. I mean, this is just adding up everything. I don't know how I get away from Nestor Cortez today. If I do have a DFS lineup, sometimes I don't play on these huge slates and just stick to bets because it's so big. You have to. I don't multi-entry. I just play one single lineup. Makes it tough because I want to play like 95 dudes, but only can cut it down to one lineup. So I think he's on my short list of must plays at that pitcher position. If I would pick three, he would definitely be in the top three. And what better matchup could you ask for? So sign me up for Nestor Cortez to record a win, plus 100 on DraftKings Sportsbook.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about rarely kind of betting the record the win normally on the no side, but it's kind of like you said, you got to have like all of the infinity stones come together for you to really like that over. And it seems like one of those spots right here. Obviously, we know the White Sox are bad. It's crazy to put that in perspective, though, that they're even worse right against the lefties right there. And obviously, just going through name by name, that lineup is brutal. Like, it's so ungodly. I mean, you need Paul DeJong to be your best home run hitter, right? That's your best offensive player. Gavin Sheets, like, what is going on here? And yeah, the catcher, Corey Lee guy, he even stole a couple bags on Washington last series, so that was interesting to see. But I mean, overall, I think they might be getting even a little mini boost for beating the Nats' terrible lineups these last couple of days, which I don't agree with. One of the first things I honestly looked at when I looked at the slate was just Yankees, Phillies money line. Like, lock it in; those two teams are winning. So definitely love the 2-win prop you mentioned. Obviously, Clevenger on the other side is not someone to be scared of. The offense is killing it. Definitely love getting this at plus money, and I do not expect it to be plus money for the rest of the day, to be very honest.
Yeah, I was surprised to see it. I wanted to bet him in probably like 2 or 3 different ways, but I think this one gives you the best value because obviously it does require different pieces to contribute. But man, dude, I feel like every spot the Yankees have it covered, and they're at home. Like,
yep.
Doesn't make sense to me, especially when you look at this guy's number and it's like an 18.5 out mark. You know what I'm saying? So either they think that the Yankees are not going to score off Clevenger, which if they don't, then probably should cut half that payroll, buddy. So sign me up, baby. I'm in for Nestor today.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. If there's that daily K leader too, I mean, hey, this might not be a bad option for that as well.
For sure. Stu, let's get a quick recap in here. We got all 3 plays ready. I know we only have one NBA with only one NBA game today, so let's do a quick recap here. If you guys have any questions, make sure you take a look in the chat, send a comment, question, concern there, and we'll get to it. Nestor Cortez to record a win is my first play to go along with Bryce Miller under 2.5 earned runs. So that's going to sit us there for my 2 spots, and obviously yours here.
Yep, going over to the NBA, we got Jalen Brunson over 6.5 assists, minus 120 over on FanDuel. Definitely love going back to the GOAT right here.
I know do you have any long shots that you want to talk about today, Stu? I know there's only one game, so it makes it a little bit tougher, but.
Yeah, I talked about him. I like DiVincenzo. I'm going to be playing him in a number of different ways. I like the latter points. I don't have the best odds in front of me because I locked my phone while trying to check that real quick. But on FanDuel right now, I'm seeing DiVincenzo's 25 points at plus 470. I definitely like that. I hope threes leader would be a little bit better, but it's plus 250. I'll be playing that as well. I think even points leader at like 20-1. I saw it earlier is something I'm interested in, but I can't see the threes pricing on it, but I will say like the 20-25 points for DiVincenzo, the threes leader, all of that will be getting, some small bets for me for today's slate. That's what I have in the long shot department.
Yeah, no, and there's say that one more time. Just give me the odds again.
DiVincenzo 25 points plus 460. That's what we'll do. Like I said, a lot of stuff right there. I'm going to break it down into some smaller bets and do the threes leader, the points leader, all that kind of stuff. But definitely. Sorry,
we're just gonna call him Dante because I can't spell that shit, bro. He hasn't been on the Bucks in a while, so give me a break. I would know it if he was still on the Bucks. I do like your call on the Daily K's leader. I do like looking at that market. I think the 12-1 on Nestor is phenomenal. I think that's a great number. And I don't know if I like any of these guys at the top again. I almost think I might go to Freddie. Like I don't. Freddie's 10-1.
Oh, in this, yeah, that's pretty
Maybe
good.
I play a little Skeens in there too, bro. Plus 1,200 Skeens. Maybe I play both. I'll sprinkle. I'll sprinkle a quarter on both. Skeens.
Interesting. Interesting. Skeen surprises me. I didn't know the early slate would be involved in that. I thought it might just be.
That's why it shuts down right after that early one. So you always got to make sure you take a look there. I'm gonna put a quarter unit on both Cortez and Skeens. Both of them are the same price. I'm gonna put a quarter unit for Daily K's leader. I think because I'm betting half a unit on these long shots anyway. I'd rather split up here, especially. I mean, even if we, tie, if some of them tie, we still get a pretty good payout.
Yeah.
But then I get something to sweat in that early game, right? Little Paul Skeens action there to start the day off. But also, I talked about that White Sox team. He could literally just go out there and just absolutely just shove on these dudes. Like a 558 OPS, bro, that is fucking awful. That is so bad. So bad. And then obviously I don't like fading the Cubs at home, but I think Skeens gets a little longer leash here. They just faced each other. I think we could see a little bit of extra, especially when it's really, really nice out. It is a really nice day out here. Get that arm warmed up. Maybe he goes to 104. Maybe he throws a 104 today, huh?
Hey, I would hope so. That's always fun to see, obviously. And I mean, he was good last game, but he also wasn't maybe, his first start, right? There's obviously going to be better to build on than that as well. And he was electric in his first start. So I'm super excited. I'm definitely telling you on that one I mentioned earlier. Wanted to have a couple long shots on it. So, and yeah, the Cortez one I love. I mean, hearing you say his outs was 18 and a half was like enough. Like, this is a guy that, I mean, he can do it in more limited innings. If they're expecting him to kind of go out there and against this lineup that we're going against, I think that's a very nice price.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned too that they just got boost from playing the Nationals when they beat them, obviously, and they did a phenomenal job against or they did a good job in the Crochet game. The Nationals of just keeping them off balance there. They do a good job putting that ball in play. Honestly, that's why I kind of like betting against. If the Nationals would actually get like a legitimate pitcher, it would be awesome because those dudes get out so fast, or they they put the ball in play so fast that you just all right, 5-minute drink and you go right back out because half their innings are just 1, 2, 3 on ground balls. So it makes it a little bit easier too if you would have not a reliever converted to a starter like all the time.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, I just got to I got the Nats hat on. I got to keep praying we get some financial investment this summer or something. Because, I mean, we got an athletics budget these last 2 summers. We're only bringing in, Dom Smith, all these losers like that you just see on other teams the next year, Joey Gallo. So we'll see what happens. I agree, though. Definitely would like that, good pitcher, and even for today's games. What is the Phillies, the Wheeler odds on that one for top K leader? Because I know he doesn't K that much, but every time Wheeler faces Washington, he pitches 8 innings. Same with Nola. They go 8 innings every single time. So it's like the Ks are eventually going to add up in those kind of starts, even if they're not trying to K you, where the players are, grounded out all the time.
No, for sure. For sure. All right, we're right at that 30-minute mark, Stu. Very nice. We did a good job today. What do you got for the people here before we head out?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I'm starting to, dive back into the weeds of baseball, obviously. It's that time of year now. We're getting a little less NBA action. And as I'm looking at these games, I'm really only seeing, one thing I like, or maybe like yesterday, 0 things I like. So definitely not going to be betting that much weekend baseball because weekend baseball is awful and makes me cry every single year, especially Sunday baseball when just the most random stuff happens. But definitely excited to get back in the weeds and have some good stuff for next week. I'm excited to check into some of these under 0 hits, under 0 Ks, some of these markets that I still think are a little bit weaker than some people are giving them credit for. But for today's purposes, make sure you drop any comments, any questions if you have them. I'll probably maybe have a same game parlay, maybe a long shot out for tonight's NBA game, just because I do want a little bit more action on it at some point. But if you want to follow all that stuff, make sure to follow over on Twitter. It's obviously where we post about the show going live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And yeah, hopefully you guys are cashing with us today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, 30-minute mark. We're right on time. Getting you guys in and out of here. and hopefully getting you guys some winners tonight as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you Monday, normal time, ready to go. So thank you guys for tuning in. Good luck on all your bets this weekend. Catch you Monday.